Like him or not, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is operating on a level that very few politicians in Nigeria's history have ever matched. When it comes to political survival, power consolidation, and strategic maneuvering, Tinubu is in a league of his own. This is a man who was publicly humiliated in Lagos, his political stronghold, when Peter Obi defeated him there in the 2023 presidential election. For decades, Lagos had been Tinubu's fortress, his empire, his political laboratory. Losing Lagos was not just a defeat, it was a personal and symbolic blow. Many expected Tinubu to retreat, to slow down, to lick his wounds. But that was never his style. Instead, he recalibrated, re-strategized, and made his way into Aso Rock, where he has since spent the last 2 years systematically weakening and destabilizing every opposition force that could realistically challenge his grip on power. What we are witnessing today in Nigerian politics is not random chaos. It is a slow, deliberate, and calculated dismantling of opposition structures, particularly the Labour Party, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and now, emerging cracks within the African Democratic Congress, ADC. To understand what is happening, we must start with the Labour Party crisis. A crisis that has been quietly engineered, strategically delayed, and politically exploited. When the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, finally recognized Senator Nenadi Usman as the national chairperson of the Labour Party, many supporters of Peter Obi saw it as a victory. After all, Nenadi Usman is widely regarded as an ally of Peter Obi, and the Supreme Court ruling in April 2025 had already settled the matter in her favor. Logically, INEC should have updated its records immediately. Justice should have been swift. The party should have stabilized. But that did not happen. Instead, INEC delayed action for over 8 months. 8 months of silence. 8 months of political paralysis. 8 months of allowing the Labour Party to tear itself apart in the courts, in the media, and in public opinion. During this period, Julius Abure and Nenadi Usman fought legal battle after legal battle while the party structures weakened, supporters grew frustrated, and momentum drained away. The timing of INEC's recognition is what raises suspicion. Why now? Why recognize Nenadi Usman only after Peter Obi had already left the Labour Party and moved to the ADC? Why allow the party to collapse before stepping in to enforce a Supreme Court ruling? If you do not see the invisible hand of political power in this sequence of events, then you are not paying attention. The Labour Party crisis did not begin yesterday. It began right after the 2023 presidential election, when Peter Obi shocked the nation by defeating Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Lagos State. Political analysts described it as one of the biggest electoral shocks in modern Nigerian history. Global media took notice. CNN reported it as a turning point that was reshaping Nigeria's political landscape. Bloomberg described it as a political earthquake, a historic blow to a man who had dominated Lagos politics for more than 2 decades. To Tinubu, losing Lagos to a candidate from a relatively new political movement was not just a defeat, it was a humiliation. But instead of reacting emotionally, Tinubu reacted strategically. Rather than attacking Peter Obi directly, he allowed the internal contradictions within the Labour Party to grow unchecked. Court rulings bounced back and forth like ping-pong balls. The High Court recognized Julius Abure. Then the Supreme Court nullified that ruling in April 2025, declaring that courts had no business interfering in internal party leadership disputes. Yet, INEC still refused to act. Not because it could not, but because it chose not to. By the time INEC was forced to comply, the damage had already been done. The Labour Party that once electrified millions of Nigerians had become a shadow of itself. Its momentum had vanished. Its structure had weakened. Its presidential candidate, Peter Obi, had already walked away. Before we go further, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe, and share it with friends and family. This helps Brainspot Media grow and ensures that this important conversation reaches more Nigerians who care about the future of our democracy. Your engagement truly matters. Thank you. Now let's continue. On the surface, INEC recognizing Nenadi Usman looks like good news for Peter Obi's political allies. It appears that legal clarity has finally been restored. But when you zoom out, the bigger picture looks far more troubling. What we now have is a Labour Party that has been politically crippled for over 2 years. A movement that once represented hope has lost energy, structure, and strategic unity. And more importantly, Peter Obi, the party's most valuable political asset, has already moved on. This creates a dangerous scenario. The Labour Party now becomes a fallback option for Peter Obi if things go wrong in the ADC. That fallback option may sound like a safety net, but in reality, it sets the stage for a divided opposition in 2027. Tinubu does not need to defeat a united opposition. All he needs is for his opponents to remain fractured. And right now, that fragmentation is playing out perfectly. Within the ADC, tensions between supporters of Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar are growing. The zoning debate remains unresolved. The party primaries promise to be intense, bitter, and potentially divisive. Meanwhile, in the PDP, internal conflict continues to weaken the party, with defections accelerating and leadership crises multiplying. Atiku Abubakar, who has contested multiple presidential elections since the 1990s, sees 2027 as potentially his last realistic chance. It is unrealistic to expect him to step aside easily. On the other hand, Peter Obi's supporters, widely known as the Obedient Movement, have made it clear they will not accept him as a vice presidential candidate. Aisha Yusufu publicly stated that she would not support any ticket where Peter Obi is not the presidential candidate. Professor Pat Utomi echoed similar sentiments, insisting that Peter Obi must lead, not follow. The cracks are widening, and Tinubu does not even need to interfere. The opposition is doing the work for him.